about 4 years ago, I started reading books by foster carers. I have no connection to social work. I've never in foster care. I've obviously never fostered anybody, but I find these really interesting. And I have now read every single one written by Casey Watson, as well as Kathy Glass, Rosie Lewis, Maggie Hartley, and Angela Hart, which are kind of the five key foster care memoir writers in the UK. Casey Watson is one of my top two favourites, and I decided, because I have no patience, and her next book's not out for about half a year, I thought I would go back to the beginning and read them in order this time, because when I read them the first time round, I read them initially with the library, just what they had, and then when I bought them, I just bought them kind of in a way that, in an order that the ones, I was most attracted to, I read first. Now I've gone back to the beginning, and I've reread The Boy No One Loved, which is Casey Watson's first book, released in 2011. And it's really interesting to read about her jumping in at the deep end, which, by the time I read this one initially, I was well aware of what her journey had been like. She had previously worked in a school supporting children with who require special educational support. Taking on the leap to become a foster carer, Justin, well, it could have been worse, but Justin's case was pretty emotional. I don't want to go into too much detail about the actual narrative, to want for a better word, but I will say that if you are new to foster care memoirs, this is a really great one to start with. It's not littered with terminology about, supervising social workers and guardia ad litums and, supervised contact. It's a really good entry point where, if you just want to read a story that's quite emotional, it's a really good one to get going with. And then as you build on the memoirs, you get to learn the terminology and, feel like you understand what's going on, even though you, like me, are an amateur reader of this. But it's a brilliant entry point, and the story itself will get you very frustrated. I don't want to go into too much detail, as I said, but it starts off with an anecdote. Justin, when he was 6 years old, or 5 years old, burned down his family home. And what he does to the dog will chill you. It will freeze your blood. It's heartbreaking. He had two younger siblings, and now, after 20 failed foster care placements, Justin arrives at Casey and Mike's house, and it's up to them with this specialist program that's designed to get him back into mainstream foster care, to help him through the problems that he is facing. And what shocked me the most about this is that he still has contact with his mother. Not regular contact, but not supervised contact. And I thought that was peculiar. And I'm not sure how long ago this was. I don't think there's anything in this that actually dated it. I kind of feel like it was maybe quite a bit earlier than 2011. But from whenever it was from, I feel like that was a really bad judgment on the part of the social workers. That contact should never have happened, at least not unsupervised. But those bits in particular are quite harrowing and emotional. But what's worse is when Justin begins to recount events from his past that could still be happening to his younger siblings, and it's heartbreaking. It's difficult, but it is entertaining. I hate to say it; it's an awful word to use with this kind of book, but these books are popular because they are entertaining. They're fascinating. They're enlightening. They will inform you of things that go on in very difficult households that you may not be aware of. If you're looking to start getting into books written by foster carers, this one is definitely a really great entry point, as I said. And the story itself, although an entry point narrative, it's not weak. It's not a tame narrative. It's not going to ease you in that respect. So if you feel like you're not ready yet to read about such strong child abuse, then maybe this one will not be for you. But certainly, if you are okay with that, and you're getting into foster care memoirs, The Boy No One Loved is the perfect choice. And I have to say that title is actually spot on. A lot of the time with these memoirs, the titles are, you know, they're hyperbolic, or they're really just not even that correct. They're designed to draw you in. But this one, as you read it, you can see that Justin literally had nobody, and it's heartbreaking. But it's also very heartwarming as you read the narrative and follow his journey. I'm really glad that I went back to reread this one because I had forgotten most of it. It's a joy to read in all of the right ways. It is heartbreaking in all of the wrong ways. The Boy to Loved by Casey Watson is one that I'm very happy to recommend.